Imagine Rome, not the Rome of ruins, a beautiful ghost whispering tales of a lost golden age. Imagine a living Rome, a breathing, eternal city, the heart of a global empire that never fell. Picture the Colosseum, its ancient stones not crumbling, but gleaming, forming the base of a magnificent structure that towers into the clouds. Between its arches, silent, gleaming vehicles glide through the air, their paths tracing lines of light against the twilight sky. This is not a dream of the past. This is a vision of a present that could have been. We stand at a crossroads in history, a point where one small change could have altered the destiny of humanity forever. The year is not 476 AD, the date history marks as the end of the Western Roman Empire. Our journey begins earlier in the 4th century, at the true point of divergence. What if a series of enlightened emperors, through brilliant military reforms, economic foresight, and sheer political will, managed to stabilize the fracturing empire? What if they successfully integrated the Germanic tribes not as conquerors, but as citizens and soldiers, renewing the strength of the legions? What if the internal decay, the civil wars, the crippling inflation, were halted? What if the Roman Empire never fell? Join us as we travel down the road not taken into a timeline where all roads forever and always lead to Rome. In our timeline, the 5th century saw Europe plunge into a dark age. Libraries were burned, knowledge was lost, and the magnificent infrastructure of Rome was left to crumble. But in this alternate reality, the 5th, 6th, and 7th centuries become an era of unprecedented stability. The Pax Romana, the Roman peace, is not a distant memory. It is an enduring reality. The great Roman roads, the arteries of the empire, are not reclaimed by nature. They are maintained, expanded, and by the 9th century, upgraded. Imagine the Via Appia not as a tourist path of ancient stones, but as a gleaming highway where horse-drawn carriages are steadily replaced by early steam-powered carts, puffing along designated lanes. The aqueducts, those marvels of engineering, don't stand as silent monuments. They continue to carry fresh water to sprawling metropolises, their arches repaired and even improved with new materials and techniques. The legions remain the backbone of the empire, but their role evolves. They are not just soldiers. They are the greatest engineering corps the world has ever known. After quelling a provincial uprising in Gaul or securing a border in Mesopotamia, these legionaries would trade their swords for shovels and surveying tools, building new cities, dams, and canals. Crucially, the great centers of learning are preserved. The Library of Alexandria, instead of being lost to fire and conflict, becomes the nucleus of the Imperial University of Egyptus. The vast knowledge of the classical world, the mathematics of Archimedes, the engineering of Hero, the astronomy of Ptolemy, is not just copied by monks in isolated monasteries. It is actively studied, debated, and built upon in state-funded academies across the empire. There is no dark age, only a continuous, steady flame of intellectual progress. This slow, steady burn of knowledge ignites the first sparks of a revolution. It doesn't happen in 18th century Britain, fueled by coal. It happens in 15th century Italia, powered by the very earth itself. Roman engineers, masters of geothermal energy from their work on the great public baths, begin experimenting. Near the slopes of Mount Vesuvius, they learn to harness the immense power of steam. By the 16th century, the breakthrough is made. A genius inventor, perhaps a descendant of a long line of Roman military engineers, perfects what he calls the Machina Herculis, the machine of Hercules. This is the steam engine, centuries ahead of its time. The impact is immediate and world-altering. The Machina Herculis begins to power everything. Massive state-owned factories, or fabricae, rise along the Tiber River, producing standardized steel, textiles, and ceramics on a scale previously unimaginable. The Roman Navy, once reliant on oars and sails, commissions its first iron-hulled warships, the navis lauricata, propelled by massive steam engines, their silhouettes belching black smoke against the Mediterranean sky. The legions are transformed. The disciplined formations of soldiers now march alongside wheeled metal contraptions, early armored vehicles housing powerful steam-driven catapults and ballistae. The sound of the Empire is no longer just the tramp of marching sandals. It is the hiss of steam, the clang of hammers, and the roar of industry. Rome has not just survived. It has evolved into the world's first industrial and military superpower. As the Roman industrial machine demands more resources, more iron, more lumber, more grain, its gaze turns outward across the vast uncharted waters of the Atlantic. In our world, this age of exploration was driven by competing European nations. Spain, Portugal, England, France, each vying for wealth and glory. In this timeline, there is no Spain, no Portugal, no France. There is only Rome. The provinces of Hispania, Lusitania, and Gallia are integral parts of a single unified state. The exploration is not a race between rivals. It is a centrally planned, state-funded series of expeditions. In the late 16th century, steam-powered Roman galleons, larger and faster than any ship our Columbus ever sailed, crossed the Atlantic. They are not searching for a new route to the Indies. They are on a mission of imperial expansion, seeking new lands to claim for the Senate and people of Rome, new resources for the fabricae, and new territories to grant to retiring legionaries. They make landfall in the Caribbean, naming it Terra Nova, the new land. The encounters with native populations are different. Centuries of a unified, interconnected empire, stretching from Britannia to Mesopotamia, have created a population with broader immunities. While diseases still take a toll, there is no single, continent-shattering plague like smallpox was in our timeline. The process of colonization is slow, methodical, and brutal in its efficiency. It is not the work of a few hundred adventurous conquistadors. It is the organized advance of the Roman state. Legions land, establish forts, and begin building roads just as they did in Gaul and Dacia centuries before. Local tribes are given a choice: accept Roman rule, pay taxes, and begin the long process of assimilation to become citizens, or be crushed. The Roman model is not one of multiculturalism. It is one of total absorption. The world map looks fundamentally different. It is not a patchwork of colored nations. It is a sea of imperial red. Rebellions occur, of course. Ambitious provincial governors, commanding legions armed with steam-powered weaponry, might declare themselves emperor, sparking devastating civil wars that span entire continents. A governor of Provincia Amazonia might battle a rival from Provincia Mexica for control of the New World, a conflict reminiscent of the wars between Caesar and Pompey, but fought with technology verging on that of our own 19th century. These civil wars become the primary form of conflict in the world. There is no 100 Years' War, no Napoleonic Wars, no World Wars, because there are no nations to fight them. Humanity is unified under the Roman eagle, but it is a unity enforced by an iron fist, a peace kept by the constant threat of a legionary steam rifle. It is a world without the concept of the nation-state, a world where identity is defined not by being French or German, but by one's status within the Roman hierarchy: slave, provincial, or the ultimate prize, citizen of Rome. In this enduring Roman Empire, the very soul of humanity would be different. Consider religion. Christianity still rises, as it did in our timeline, spreading through the empire's network of roads and sea lanes. But it never escapes the control of the state. The emperor, seated in Rome, or perhaps Constantinople, remains the Pontifex Maximus, the high priest of the state religion. He is the head of the Christian church. The faith is codified, centralized, and used as another tool of imperial administration. There is no great schism between East and West because the church and state are one. There is certainly no Protestant Reformation. A figure like Martin Luther, a rebellious monk in the province of Germania, would be swiftly declared a heretic and crushed by the local legion before his ideas could spread. Information is controlled. The printing press, when invented, is an imperial monopoly used for official decrees and sanctioned texts. not for revolutionary pamphlets. The result is a single, monolithic Christian faith, its doctrine and rituals unchanging for millennia, its language Latin, its ultimate authority the emperor. The old pagan gods might not vanish entirely. Perhaps they survive among the old senatorial families as a form of philosophical tradition, or they are syncretized with local beliefs in the far-flung provinces, creating strange new hybrid faiths under the watchful eye of the imperial priesthood. Society is deeply, unshakably stratified. The rigid class structure of ancient Rome never disappears. It simply modernizes. At the apex are the ancient senatorial families, their wealth and power rooted in vast land holdings across the globe. Below them, the equestrian order has evolved into a class of industrial tycoons managing the great fabricae and trade networks. Then come the plebeians, the vast body of Roman citizens. They are the legionaries, the engineers, the foremen, and the clerks. Their lives are stable, their loyalty to the empire absolute, for they know that the alternative, being a non-citizen provincial, is far worse. At the bottom of this pyramid is a colossal population of laborers. The institution of chattel slavery may have been reformed, deemed inefficient for an industrial economy. It has been replaced by a system of indentured servitude or serfdom, tying generations of families to the mines of Provincia Africana, the plantations of Terra Nova, or the assembly lines of the Fabricae in Italia. For all, the ultimate goal is citizenship. It is the prize offered to provincials for generations of loyal service, the reward for valor in the legions, the right to vote, the right to Roman law, the right to say civis Romanus sum, I am a Roman citizen, is the most powerful tool of assimilation and social control the empire possesses. Art and architecture reflect this unchanging order. There is no Renaissance, no Baroque, no Gothic cathedrals. The classical style of Rome is the only style. It evolves, of course, becoming grander, more imposing. Imagine a city like Londinium or Lutetia, but instead of Victorian houses or Parisian boulevards, you see towering skyscrapers built in the form of colossal Corinthian columns, grand central stations that look like the baths of Caracalla, and massive triumphal arches celebrating not ancient victories over the Gauls, but the quelling of a rebellion in Provincia Sinica, the province of China. The language of art, science, law, and daily life, from the shores of California to the plains of India, is one language, Latin. So, what kind of world have we built? It is a world of technological marvels, a world of order and unity. Humanity has reached the stars centuries earlier than in our timeline. There have been no world wars, no Holocaust, no Cold War nuclear terror. There is a singular peace, the Pax Romana, that has held for 2,000 years. But what is the cost of this peace? This is a world without diversity, without the vibrant tapestry of cultures that defines our own. A world where political dissent is treason, where social mobility is limited, and where the lives of billions are subservient to the needs of the eternal state. Innovation exists, but it is driven by the military and the state, not by individual freedom and entrepreneurial spirit. Is it a utopia of order, or is it a gilded cage on a global scale? Did the fall of Rome, in its chaos and violence, ultimately unleash the creative and competitive energies that led to the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and the modern world we know? Was the collapse of that great empire a tragedy, or was it a necessary, painful step in the maturation of humankind? We leave you with one final image from this timeline that never was. On the tranquil surface of the moon, a figure stands in a gleaming, advanced pressure suit. The suit is adorned not with the flag of a nation, but with the golden eagle and the letters S, PQR, Senatus Populus Quae Romanus. He reaches not for a flag, but for a vexillum, the classical military standard of the legions, and plants it firmly in the gray lunar dust. A single human civilization, born from a single city has claimed the heavens. A testament to unity, power, and order, or a warning that the shadows of the eagle can stretch much farther than we could ever imagine.